welcome back to another episode of Charity Shop Finds, episode 2. So this is going to document a few charity shops over the last few days where we were around Hastings, Brighton, and also Eastbourne and Tunbridge Wells. And my local one too, so you see Mary Berry staring at you here. So this is my local one. So they're quite actual thick books. These are actually 2 for £1. So you've got 2 of them, 2 big heavy books for £1. So even if I get a few recipes out of it, so I can redonate it. These were just lucky to see these butterbeer ones. These are from here, so they're from the studio tour. These are only £1 each, so you definitely couldn't buy these for £1 each. So they were just labelled up as £1. That was in my local cancer research shop. This was in Battle, which is near Hastings, which is where the Battle of 1066 took place. This is a ceramic jelly mould. I'm building up a collection of jelly moulds, it seems, for someone that doesn't really eat jelly that much. But I'm also thinking blancmange and maybe like a creme caramel, possibly. So this is quite a big mould. It's reminding me of those old style kind of in those books that, you know, elaborately decorate. So I could also make like a bavois, like an enriched custard, a blancmange jelly, milk jelly, which is also more or less a blancmange. This was £5, but I thought this was, considering nowadays you would pay much more for that. So that was a £5 in a local shop in Battle. This is a glass jelly mould. I'm actually seeing quite a lot of jelly moulds. Like, these aren't cheap either these days. This was £1.50. You can see inside it's got a kind of raised design. I think I might already have one like this. I wasn't sure of the size, but that was only £1.50. In another local shop. They're just so wildly different. This was in Mind. This was £2, and you can see it does look just like a jug, but it is a vintage Pyrex jug. So I had bought a dinner set on eBay with this and these stampings on it before, and it's a vintage. I think it says JAJ on the bottom of it. Look, if you ever see this one, it's a vintage Pyrex. So this was only £2. This is much cheaper than. You see, it's got pint fluid ounces on it. It's kind of got this funky sort of slope design on it. So this was £2, which is cheaper than a modern jug. So I got that because I kind of would like to have a kind of retro-y kitchen. I don't know if that would happen with all the other junk in there. Anyway, so some are modern, some are vintage. This was I have tried to clean this up. I think I'm going to have to go over it again. It was quite filthy. This is also. You wouldn't think this is also Pyrex. They also made a range of casserole dishes and dishes. So this is I think this is a Harvest, I think it's called. I think the pattern's called Harvest or Fruit, something like that. Anyway, this has got the lid. The lid doesn't seem to be damaged. There is a rough edge around one of them. Anyway, see, it does have that line. I think I do need to go over it again. Look, it does have a brown line, but that is the actual design, but there's a little bit of dirt underneath there. This underneath was disgusting. It was all brown. But anyway, Age UK had a clearance shop and the whole thing was £1. So they don't often come with the lids. They don't often come with the lids complete. So even if I had another Pyrex dish, I've actually seen quite a few different patterns. So again, look, it's got this mark on the top. You can't quite see it. The JAG one again. So it's actually Pyrex. These, I didn't initially see what they were. So these little dishes, I thought, oh, these would be good for like making individual pies. You know, like old-fashioned pies. Or like an individual kind of dish for someone. Or a bit big for a dessert. But then I saw that it had Charlie Bigham on the bottom. So actually, they're quite expensive there, Charlie Bigham. I will put up a thing on the screen. So they're about £6 each, these pies, which come with a ceramic basin. So someone's actually spent nearly £40 on pies, and donated these. So I picked up one, there was no price on it. I picked up one underneath. It said £5 and it says ×2. So I was thinking, I don't really want to pay £5 for 2. It seems a bit much. Probably isn't, to be honest, for ceramic dishes nowadays. But then it wasn't even for that, and it was £3 for all 6. So I bought them all. I've given them a nice little clean up, and I can't wait to make some kind of meat pies with them. They're really, because I think you could use them for anything: shepherd's pie, cottage pie, anything really. So that was handy. So thanks to whoever spent £40 on them, because I picked them up for £3. They were again in a state, so I don't think they actually clean them much. They must launder the clothes, but I don't think they clean the homewares, because some of the stuff I've picked up is just this casserole dish was filthy. No wonder people didn't want to pick it up. I did spend about 15 minutes with a scrubber. In the sink, I meant a sponge. That didn't sound right. I guess that's all you need, 15 minutes anyway. I also picked this up in Mind as well. I tend to look at the size, and I don't really look much at the label. Now, I'm big into my Hawaiian shirts. So, this pineapple one is right up my alley. This says large in it, so it could be an Asian large. It doesn't have a brand in it, so I'm going to take a risk. I think it was $2.50 or something like that, so I took a risk on that. This is not a big risk, so I'll give it a wash. This I spotted in the Battle shop. I'm guessing it's a female one, but look how fabulous this shirt is. It's a Mickey Mouse shirt. I just see there's a line on there that can come off it. Look, it looks pretty big, to be honest. Look, this shirt. It doesn't have a brand, and it does have Chinese there. It does say F adult, so that could mean free size, or it could mean female. It did come up. It was in the women's clothes stuff, but look, you can kind of tell with women's blouses, they're always short in the arms, so I'm hoping that's not the case, because this is a really funky shirt. This was, as we see, look, it was in the hospice and wheeled children shops. It was £3.50. So I'm really hoping. It looks a bit big for a woman's one, I think, but this would be just fabulous to go to Disney in. We are thinking of eventually going back to Disney World at some point, so, and it will be just before my 40th. So, family vacation, but it'll be close to my 40th, so it's just 2 years away. So, maybe I could wear this. Anyway, this is episode 2. So, I have a few other things that I bought before, so I will include them in the next episode while I build this up to a series. So, if you like this kind of stuff, check out the first episode on the channel. Subscribe, like, and see the other videos up on the channel. Travel, Too Good To Go boxes, food reviews, and much more. And I'll see you in another video. Okay, bye.